We are live, very demure, very classy. All right, if you're wondering, yes, it's in the evening sometimes. If you want to go to the gym, you operate a business, and you want to navigate family challenges, then you could be slightly, not a lot, overly caffeinated, but still healthy. So, what are you going to get out of this live? You're going to get how to get out of a toxic relationship, like the SOS signs of when to leave a relationship, because it came to my conclusions that in order for people to even attract healthy relationships, they need to get out of toxic relationships. A lot of people are stuck. Okay, so if this is you, then stick around and this video is going to help you out. And why you should listen to me. Hello, I'm Selfa. I run a successful business and marriage, and I'm so happy and thrilled and honored to be here so I would be able to help you. All right, so let's get to the juicy stuff. Effort matters more than words. Someone saying I love you, but love means sacrifice, empathy, and mutual respect. So let me just dive deeper into this because it's so important. Most importantly, you would start feeling like you're not valued, you're not heard, you're not seen, you're not fulfilled. And most of the times you feel like it's always about the other person. Now, I always talk about early narcissistic signs or avoidance or clinginess and neediness, but all of these, let's say psychological issues, it doesn't matter as long, like, it doesn't matter what they go through. A relationship takes two. That's why it takes two to tango and makes a relationship successful, is for both people to be on the same line. And both people need to be so honest about their needs and so transparent about the things that they are willing to go through and they're not willing to go through. That's why one person usually ends up sacrificing and going through the struggles at the extent of another, or I would say because of another person. That's what I was trying to say. So I think that emotional safety and prioritizing your well-being should be a number one priority. And it's your responsibility to take care of it, yeah, but if you find that your partner is nowhere to be found in your hard days, is nowhere to be found in the struggles that you go through, and they're not helping you, and you're doing the same, then that's the first sign that it is a toxic relationship and it's not going to work out. Because the person that has the most impact and tremendous amount of influence on you is the person you choose to marry, the person that you choose to be with. And if they're genuinely the right person for you and they love you, then they have to show love through actions. Because saying I love you and I'm here for you is just a form of manipulation. That's why they say if someone say I'm sorry and they don't change their behavior, then they're 100% manipulating you, or they're weak and they're not honest, and that still would be categorized as someone who's not a good person in general. So why there should be a good person in relationships or a good partner? So that's number one. If you feel it, you're devaluated, if it's always about them, so you had a hard day and then they try to justify that they even had a harder day, then you'd understand, like technically you're a punching bag, technically you are on the sidewalk, and it always seems like there's something more of a priority. So if you have to rearrange your priorities as a couple, and if you both are not a priority, then one of you is sacrificing and one of you is building on the extent of somebody else's well-being. So that being said, let's move on to number two. Red flags: inconsistency, lack of accountability, punishing, vulnerability, and walking on eggshells. Now, let's start with the first one: inconsistency. In relationships, the people who pretend, the people who even like set up the perfect dating profile and looking polished for the first few dates, and even like studying the person just to make sure that they make them fall in love with them, and then proceeding with engagement and potentially a marriage, you would be surprised to see how many people they can go, like how far a person can go just to get to the result. So if you're targeted, because another example is Liz the Wizard, her ex studied her and he gave her exactly what she was looking for, but also she ended up attracting through her energy. It's either or, it doesn't matter, because if a person just starts showing you that they're not consistent, and most importantly, that happens after the marriage. So you'd start seeing that this person is not calling you as much as he did or she did. This person is not taking care of you emotionally and physically. They're not fulfilling your needs. They're not fulfilling their duties, their rules. Then you would understand that their energy is put somewhere else and their priorities are set for something else. And yeah, that's a huge red flag. Lack of accountability. It's always your fault. It's always because of you. It's always because of somebody else. So I caught you doing this. It's because I'm going through stress. I caught you not taking care of me. It's because my finances are always low and my mom is sick. There's not only you're not a priority, but this person doesn't have the capability of being an adult and owning it and saying, you know what? Here are the exact same steps that I'm going to take to fix a problem. Here's a hack for you. If you tell someone that you hurt me and you did something, and they don't give you clarity on how to fix that behavior or pattern, then rest assured that they're not going to do anything about it. And it's your responsibility now to act upon the person that they showed you to be. And when a person shows you who they are, believe them. Number 3 is punishing vulnerability. So a lot of people are not authentic and they're not vulnerable, and a lot of people have been punished for vulnerability when we were like when they were kids. I get it. We've all had like a rough upbringing and childhood traumas, and it could be a father wound, a mother wound, or you're not being seen for who you are as a child. They spoke down to you. They told you stop being mushy as a man if you show vulnerability and emotions, and technically being a strong like child or stubborn, they would tell you like you don't feel or whatever. But anyway, the point is, in relationships we have to do better and we have to know better, and one of the most important things that we need to do is to be vulnerable about the things we go through, so we don't let resentment build up. The best things in life is when you not prevent a problem, not give a cure to a problem. That'd be even better. Imagine if we can live in a world where everyone is responsible and we would prevent issues. That'd be even better. So nobody has to pay at the cost of anybody, right? Or at the extent of anybody. So they would if a person in a relationship punishes you for feeling the way that you feel. And let me give you an example. Let's say they did something wrong, like they spoke down to you when their family is around, and you're very much like it's a big boundary for you. It's a deal breaker, let's say, and you would tell them like, I didn't like it how you spoke to me, or you yelled at me in front of your mom, and I feel like that hurt me and it made me feel diminished, and it's something that I would never accept a relationship. And they'd be like, what are you talking about? You're going crazy. That's my mom at the end of the day. That's how we spoke to our moms. And you don't worry, like everybody is not focused with you. So they would never like take accountability, one, on how their actions impacted you, but second, they would diminish your vulnerability as if it doesn't matter. It would be like, grow up, brush it off. That is a huge red flag in relationships. So number 4 is walking on eggshells. You feel like you're always afraid of being yourself. You always feel afraid to speak up your mind. You always feel like you cannot express your true, authentic self. And we grow in relationships. We change. You shouldn't be punished for evolving, for changing your mind. If I say something 3 years ago, 3 months ago, y'all, you have the let's say like the right to change your mind, because we are constantly growing and changing, and your partner should be your biggest supporter. But if your partner is going to come in and she's going to label you as, what are you saying this? You said this before. If you have the ability to analyze and compromise together, right? Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of an extreme aspect or concept around it. Don't change the foundations. Like if you both agree it's a two-way street of relationship, don't bring a third person. If you both agree that you a priority versus somebody else, do not change that. Don't change the deal breakers, don't change the fundamentals of the relationship. But if it's just like trivial, small little details that you can tackle on a daily basis, that's not a problem. Just like where are you going to eat this weekend? If someone changed their mind about a spot and you're like, I don't want to go there anymore. I'm not feeling comfortable anymore. I'd be like, what are you talking about? That's your favorite restaurant. Why are you always like this? Why are you toxic? Why do you? That's a lot. That's a huge red flag and a sign that you are in a toxic relationship. Because why is a person so upset about the trivial little things? Right? You should always care about the bigger picture, the foundations, the things that cannot be touched. So yeah, we don't want to be walking on eggshells. And if you are, then I'm really, really sorry, because it must be something super hard and difficult to go through. Number Point number three. So about we spoke about the efforts matters more than words. We spoke about the red flags to spot, and now we're gonna go over a feeling that we need to analyze together, because it's so like underrated, and there's a lot of misconceptions around this feeling. So your anger is a signal. It shows you're being neglected or mistreated. Do not ignore it at any cost. I swear, whenever they ask me, I always tell them, and this is where I come off like my passion. Like, don't judge me, okay? The eclipse right now. I heard that Scorpio is back to its planet and, and stuff like that. So just like, don't blame me if I'm coming off a little bit more aggressive than usual. I try to cool it down normal days, but right now I'm just like being myself, okay? So let's have a healthy relationship. Anyway, so I always loved when I said, like, yes, I am an angry person. Like when I was growing up, like most people would label me, why are you always angry? Why are you always stressed? Why are you always yelling at everyone? Because I came up, like, I learned that my anger was just simply a signal for me to protect myself through them crossing my boundaries. They are the people to blame because they crossed my boundaries. I will give you examples. They would not knock on my door before entering, thinking, oh, it's okay. What do you have to hide? No, no, bitch, stop. Don't enter my room. And also, there's like moments of anger when, like a grandma, like my husband's grandma would say like some things, or she would just like simply cross boundaries or privacy. Why are you not telling me your plans? Why are you not sharing with me what you want to do? Like, why do I have to tell you? Like, why do I have to act like the bigger person all the time? I don't, if I have to be acting like the bigger person, maybe I shouldn't be hanging out around small people. I'll give you another sign is like, why aren't you picking up the phone and calling me? Well, maybe because I have other priorities and I don't want to talk to you right now. Am I entitled to give you my time? Are you entitled to take my time? No, you don't. So the same thing in a relationship with you and your partner. If you feel angry because you have to wash the dishes by yourself every time, if you feel angry because they're not picking up after themselves, if you feel angry because you're always the person to put things together, to be the fixer, then that's your anger is a blessing, because it's triggering a signal that is not supposed to be that way. Things don't have to be like that. You're supposed to operate in a safe environment. Your partner is supposed to create more safety, more intimacy, more vulnerable spot for you to thrive, not to struggle. So if anyone is calling you an angry person, that's your sign to sit with yourself and see what is triggering you. And the best way to handle it is to create boundaries. And if people are still angry with your boundaries, and by the way, the first step is create them boundaries and then see how people are reacting to the boundaries. Because most people, like they say, there are the most people would punish you for your reaction and not their actual what caused it. So they would not blame themselves for doing something hurtful or crossing a boundary. They're simply label you as crazy and angry just because you give a reaction to what they did to you. And the people who would still not respect your boundaries, they're not supposed to, first, to be in your life. Second, they're not going to be privileged to even have an explanation. This is why I talk about class, feminine energy, demure. Leave, exit, save your dignity, save your energy. It's better put elsewhere than trying to justify or trying to explain. Because if they lived I don't know, like 30 years, they lived 40, 50 years, why am I supposed to teach you? basic decency and humanity. And you're not supposed to do that either. And with your partner, you're supposed to be, let me see. So with your partner, let's say they crossed your boundary through not putting, let's say if it's a man, most men would struggle with like taking out the trash without you reminding them, washing after themselves because they're more like, they would say, like looking at other girls on the street and they would say, oh, it's my psychology, it's my biology as a man, whatever. And if it's a woman, then she would say, he's just my friend, or I'm going out with my girlfriends, and I'm sorry, I didn't look at the phone. I didn't realize it was midnight. So those are the triggers that people mostly have in relationships, and you should communicate the boundary like this. I understand and I completely support how you love your friends and how you want to spend that time to recharge your energy. And I love so much what you do in for our relationship. However, it's not acceptable for me. For me, it's not acceptable, and I don't picture my partner not picking up the phone and reassuring me, and it's past midnight. So I hope that this wouldn't happen in the next time. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to reconsider if this is the right relationship for me. It's always about what you want. This puts you in the authoritarian position, and this puts you in the favorable position that if they don't match what you want and like and what you expect as a standard in a relationship, that it's not because of them, it's because what you prefer. So they try to either match up to that standard, or they're gonna end up labeling you, doing all the toxic shit. So if listen, getting defensive with this type of creating a boundary, it's cool for a few seconds, but they should just like come around and like apologize and actually change the pattern. But if they get stuck and like try to trigger you even more and try to get you more angry, hold your composure. One of the most underrated skills is not to react to everything, and especially your relationships, especially if you're a woman, because most women mistake in this. Please, for the love of God, hold that grace, because these men, man, I don't want you to seem like, I don't want you to tell me that I'm not on your side, okay? I'm on both sides. Mostly men, women, that. Anyway, so, yeah, because men translate you giving energy, you care more, and you lose your power as a woman. So don't do that. Anyway, so, okay. Let's go back to what we're doing. Sorry about the interruption. Let me put my phone in airplane mode. Okay, so point number four. So we spoke about efforts, red flags, anger, and what it means, and now we're going to talk about patterns that repeat. Pretty much tackled it, but we're going to elaborate even further. If they've shown you they won't change, believe them. And I promise you, every time a person shows you who they are, especially with their actions and not showing up for you the way you wanted to, and not backing you up when you most needed it, betraying you, hurting you, being disloyal, taking advantage of you, of your time, resources, especially as a partner, they're not going to change. And even if they change, why does it have to be on the extent of your peace of mind, your patience, your loyalty, your good intentions and honor? Protecting yourself should be your top priority, and it's the second responsibility of the partner we choose to be with. So I will give you like examples, but I'm sure that anyone in this world that would agree to this thing, even if it's after years, because here's the critical point of not believing what people show you to be. They will always prove you wrong. They will always do worse. Because if they do it to begin with, it shows values, it shows their character, it shows you more about how they operate. You see, and most people that build values for years and they're adults, they're not going to be changing. um And the thing is, love is not going to change anyone. Love is going to actually make someone worse if it's unconditional, because they would any person, this is just a human psychology 101, is that most people would be like, oh, look how she's like letting me go or get away with this small tiny thing, and from one tiny thing it leads to another, and from one that thing another leads to a huge pattern, and it leads to bigger things. And for example, in a relationship, you let them go with their best friend, and now they're not picking up the phone, and now they are coming home late, and then they're allowing themselves to be drunk in your bed, and then they're allowing themselves to disrespect you and call you names, and then they're gonna start comparing themselves, and then you end up in a huge public scandal thing in front of everybody. You see, it's the small things that lead to the bigger things. And the people who, again, you have to prevent. You have to get good at preventing. But if you are in this situation, I'm really sorry, get your shit and go. I'm telling you, there are people who are willing to support you. If you want, I have a workshop that can help you create better boundaries, gonna rebuild your confidence, lets you understand the patterns so you don't repeat them. You can sign up with a community. You can get a course to go back to whenever you're in doubt. You're not alone. And I really hope that you're not feeling alone. All you have to do is check out my Instagram and just like click on the bio or send me a message, and you're more than welcome. I do this for the reason of saving people's lives, because relationships can either make you or break you, and it breaks my heart to see a lot of successful men and women go down the hill just simply because of the people they chose to be in their lives. People will drag you down, and people will root for you, and they will be cheerleading for you until you choose to do better. You will never see someone fit criticizing you for going to the gym. You will never see someone making a business successful laugh at you in your first trial and failures. You will never see people who are good and better and happy and successful criticizing people who are trying. But unfortunately, hurt people hurt other people. And unfortunately, I've seen and I came across a lot of people who operate successful businesses and that still didn't heal. And just because they had a bad experience, you see? So if you want to be successful in both in your marriage and also your business, because your business, it's not going to be, you cannot operate successful business over traumas and not healing the foundations of your childhood, and the patterns that lead you to dating and choosing a partner. I really am a huge believer that you can thrive when you align both, because most people also regret they're not fulfilled. For women, listen, this is for you, my strong woman who's working, and I know you're watching me right now, and I'm proud of you because you have time to put energy and efforts and resources to better yourself, and you're so afraid of repeating the same patterns. I know how hard it can be, but also you deserve the family you want, and you deserve to be supported by a partner who is strong and capable. And the last point, let's talk about the job, your job. Be honest about what's not working, set standards, and take accountability for your own growth. This is the thing. Nobody's going to do it for you. No one is going to fix your mistakes. No one is going to understand what you're going through. The only person who sees it all is you. The only person who sees how hard you've tried is you. But your efforts will go to waste unless you change the patterns and you do the work for you. Because people, and especially your partner, is going to love you for how do you make them feel, and how and what type of person they're becoming alongside you. So your relationship with you is the most important one. So matter of fact, that it's either the time or the cost. You have time now. You can do it now. This is the younger, most energy you're gonna have than like 4 years, 5 years down the line. And as a woman, we're usually successful around our late 30s or early 30s if you're really, really, really good, or late 20s. And these are our most fertile years. So imagine if we don't prevent the issue and we fix our relationship with ourselves or with the toxic partner and we don't exit it, then what's going to happen to us? We're going to wake up at the end of our 30s and we're going to say, I wish I learned. I wish I did that. I wish I healed. But it's going to be too late. It's going to be too late. And you would look back and you say, if I did, I would have had a healthier relationship with myself, with men, with partners, with my kids, if you do have them. And you would have given your kids and the people you love deserve to see you happy. And homes are being wrecked because people have always focused resources and money over themselves, their energy, their peace of mind, and their happiness and their fulfillment. So let's stop doing that. Anyway, I really hope this video resonated with you. And if it did help you, then I would love to hear from you down, because it's going to be, this is live. Yeah, so I'll do some Q&As, and because I'm gonna get distracted right now if I do, but it's going to be played out on my YouTube channel. So I would really love to hear more about the comments. I'll go back and see what are the most repeated questions, and I'm going to answer them in the next video. As for now, I wish you a very happy evening or day wherever you're watching me from, and I'll see you in the next live.